Life is so busy. If you blink, you can miss something amazing. It's important to take a moment and enjoy what we have and the people around us. I'm Mo Hagan, Chief Operating Officer for CanFit Pro, and welcome to A Moment with Mo, a podcast where I will welcome some incredible guests to talk fitness and nutrition, mindset and self-empowerment, setting our goals into action, and much, much more. Now let's get chatting. Hello and welcome to A Moment with Mo. And this is a podcast where we dive deep into conversations around fitness, health, wellness, personal and professional growth. And I'm your host, and my goal is to share inspiring stories so that we can all together spark positive change in the world. And it is a podcast, but really a platform to shine a light on inspiring leaders who, through sharing their own stories, experiences, life lessons, encourage us all to soar and shine in our own lives. And today I'm joined by someone who's inspired audiences all over the world with his passion, his energy, and his wisdom. He is Ben McDonald, and Ben has over 3 decades in the fitness industry. He is an award-winning coach, presenter, and keynote speaker who I've been blessed to work with for many of those 3 decades. And he is also the founder of the McDonald Method, a company dedicated to education that puts fundamentals first and emphasizes authentic connection. The combination of those two is what makes Ben the most unique, one of the most unique humans I have met and had the privilege of working with. So let's welcome Ben.
Thank you very much, Mo. I love it when people say unique.
Unique. Well, as soon as people know, oh, this is Ben, and oh, I know Ben, they'll all say the same thing. You are the most unique human that connects both the essence of education with unique connection. You do that through your personality. And so it's wonderful to have this very special conversation with you today. And friends, for those who might have wondered where Ben was, he was on a family vacation if you joined me at CanFit Pro Global, so unable to join us. I don't know, how many years have you been with CanFit Pro?
I started presenting when I first came to Canada, Mo. I've not missed a year that I've been in Canada, so it was like 13 years that I've been presenting at the convention, yeah.
Wow, that's a long time. And you were dearly missed, but I wanted to do something that would be both insightful and helpful to our audience, both watching and listening today. But also, I wanted to really dig deep into where you're at. And I thought a good way to do that was to bring to the conversation 2 key lessons that I learned from CanFit Pro Global that I thought I'd share with you, but at the same time discuss with you, because you have such incredible lived experiences in these 2 real life lesson areas. So I'm going to throw them your way, and then we're going to dive in. And why I'm going to ask you this is because I believe that your focus, as mentioned, on both fundamentals, authenticity, and higher level leadership, you'd be the perfect person for me to talk to you about these. So let me tell you, everyone, I was privileged to host a session at CanFit Pro Global this year. It was called She Soars, Leadership and Legacy. And while it was really focused on women's legacy and leadership, it was incredible to see so many men in the room, those supporting women in leadership roles and or supporting their significant others, their community. And it's really just helps to have a really holistic conversation. So now I get to have it with you. And let me start by sharing the first lesson. It's about the power of courage and clarity. That leadership isn't about having it all figured out, but having trust in yourself to get started, and knowing confidence comes from leaping forward. And that's so important, especially as we help people in our education, in our opportunity to train others. Is really, you got to start with what is your passion and your purpose in life, and then taking those leaps, not always knowing what you're doing, but having the confidence to know that when you lead with the why, or your deep desire on serving the world, you will find the way. And then the second lesson is about, and I think this one's perfect for you, is not flying too close to the ground. And our theme, of course, at Camp the Pro is soar. People might think of eagles and those things that fly, but thinking about not being too low to the ground with your purpose, with your goals, with your belief in yourself, and really giving yourself permission to imagine a higher purpose for your business and your life. So you ready to go?
I'm ready to rock and roll, mate.
Okay, mate. Well, here's my first question around courage and clarity. In your career, how have you built the courage to leap into new opportunities before you felt completely ready?
Mo, these questions are interesting for me, right? And first off, what I would like to say is thank you, because you are a massive advocate, Mo, for, as I am, for women in the fitness industry. I think it was a shock for me when I came to Canada. In the UK, very thin on the ground as far as female leadership goes. I came to Canada, I was like, wow, this is interesting. I looked at you and Jane Riddell, you had all these people, Kelly Thorne, all these different ladies who were in positions of sort of not authority, but, you know, little in leadership roles. And I thought it was excellent. So thank you, Mo. I appreciate it. I think the ladies are, you know, leading from the front. So as far as it goes for me, I think what you've got to do is accept opportunity, Mo. Even if you're not ready, accept the opportunity. And what blows my mind, I say this to people all the time, the biggest limitation that people are going to have in their career is the fear of what other people will think of them. And I'm like, that is insane to me. You're more concerned about what other people think of you than what you think about yourself. And when it just doesn't make much sense to me. For me, Mo, I really do not care generally what people think about, because it's always going to be someone who wants to drag you down, like the crabs in the bucket. As soon as the crab starts to climb out, boom, the other crabs drag them back in. So what you've got to do is accept opportunity and fly with it. As an example of people sort of bringing you down, Mo, or waiting for you to, you know, like dragging you back into the bucket. I remember back in the UK years ago, I did a program for Sky Television, which is the equivalent of Rogers. And it's called Masters of the Power Club, right? So, yeah, I know, it sounds really good. So it's the Power Club is like a weighted bat. I've got one right here. So it's a club, a weighted club. And I was doing a lot of training with it at the time, utilizing it with clients and whatnot. Nobody else was using it. So I was the person who wrote a course on it. So I was the UK's leading expert, right? The bar was low. So I did this program for the TV, and it was aired on one night. The day after, I was doing some stuff for a company that I work for. I'm doing an assessment on a student. And as I'm writing away, this other instructor comes over and he's assessing another student. And he stood there and he went, "Saw your show on the on Sky Channel." I was like, "Oh, great." I said, "What do you think?" He went, "It was really cheesy." And I looked at him like, I went, "Really?" I said, "It wasn't as good as yours, was it?" And he went, "Fair point." You know what I mean? So what you've got to do even if you don't feel ready for it, like, so what? What is the worst possible case scenario? You grab the opportunity and you run with it.
Love it. And you said, you know, what is the worst thing? You end up in the same place you are now, but the opportunity is you may actually have stepped forward into your future that you may not even realize is waiting for you. So good on you. And I love the fact that you just stepped right into this question and said, go for it. So I love it. I have a follow-up question to this one, again, around courage and clarity. You did give us some great advice already, but what would you give fitness, health, and wellness professionals who do struggle with confidence in taking that first step? It's one thing to say, accept opportunities, but is there something you experienced yourself you could share as advice?
Yeah, I think, Mo, for me, everybody experiences imposter syndrome. And I'll be honest with you, Mo, I flaming get it now. Do you know what I mean? Like, even after an extended period of time in the industry, I still get it. When am I in the right sort of arena? Do I have the right to stand on this stage? Do I have the right to do X, Y, and Z? And I went to see a guy present, brilliant guy, fantastic book. The book is called The Alter Ego Effect, and it's written by a guy called Todd Herman. It's fantastic. So what he talks about in that is creating an alter ego for himself. And it came from, he was going to work, right? So he comes in from work and he wants to be super dad for his daughter. And he was distracted, Mo. He was never present with his daughter. So he's like, I want to be super dad. So what am I going to do to make sure that I can do it? And she made him a little bracelet, like an elasticated bracelet that said dad on it. And he hung it on the on his key hook. So when he walked in from work, he'd put his keys on the key hook, take the bracelet off, put it on, and snap the bracelet like kick on his wrist. And that was his signal to become super dad. I thought, that is really interesting. So when you look at people, Mo, who are maybe artists, whatever you want to look at, Prince, right? Who was a symbol and then he became Prince and then he went back to being a symbol. He had an alter ego called Camilla and he actually released an album under that pseudonym as a female artist. Beyonce, her on stage alter ego is Sasha Fierce. Like, you've got these people who have got alter egos all the time. If you look at, for me, when I looked at it, because as you said earlier, Mo, with authenticity, everything that you do, no matter who you connect with, it has to come from a place of authenticity. So I'm thinking, how do you do that? How do you create an alter ego for yourself and it not being authentic? So I started having a little think about it. I thought, you do it all the time. You do it all the time. Like the way that I speak to my mum is very different to the way that I speak to my friends. And the way I speak to my friends, very different than the way that I speak to my wife, very different than the way that I speak to my children. But they are all extremely authentic relationships that I have. So you're constantly creating these alter egos all the time. So you create an alter ego for yourself where you are. If you're a little introverted, you are a little more extroverted in your alter ego. And you can give yourself a signal, Mo. So I say to trainers all the time, have a pair of shoes that you just wear on the gym floor. So like your uniform, your name badge, I'm going to age myself a little bit, Mo, your clipboard or your or your iPad or whatever it is. All of these things, when you put them on, it's like saying to the brain, go time, like you are ready. Do you see what I mean? And that's the signal, like the band on the wrist, for you to become your alter ego.
That is amazing. Can you name the book again and the author?
Yeah, the book is called The Alter Ego Effect, and the author is Todd Herman. When you look at the alter ego effect, Mo, and when you look at creating an alter ego, that's fantastic. But the other part of it is you have to do the work, Mo. You have got to put the work in. You can't just sit back and expecting things to drop into your lap. When I first started in the industry, Mo, everything was written. It was all magazines were print. There was no online magazines or anything like that. So when I first started in the industry, I was writing for Men's Health, Men's Fitness, Train Hard, Fight Easy, Fighters Only, Women's Fitness, Ultra Fit Magazine, like all of these different things that I was doing. I was doing stuff for the TV, radio. I was teaching. I was writing courses. I was presenting at conventions. I was doing all this stuff, Mo, because I'd put my head above the parapet. I had put myself out there, accepted the opportunity, and put the work in. And one girl said to me, she said, she was doing my job at the time in a separate teaching education center. And she comes to me, she said, "You're dead lucky." And I said, "Why am I dead lucky?" And she said, "Well, you get all these opportunities, like you're writing and you're doing this, that, and the other, and blah, blah." I said, "Hey, hang on a minute." I said, "I write the courses on my lunchtime." I said, "I'm writing articles at night when I get home from work. I'm presenting on weekends. I'm doing all of this stuff, and I'm doing the same job as what you're doing." I said, "It's not lucky. I am doing the work." So
that's right.
You can create the alter ego, Mo. You can take the opportunity, but you have to put the work in. Put
the work in, and that is the art of repetition. You know, that the 10,000 hours that takes to master skill. I love what you shared, and it reminded me just how much we who are professionals have learned that, whether you're an actor, an instructor, trainer, we put on our uniform. For me, my alter ego comes when I put on my mic belt and I put that mic on my head, and then I become that instructor. And I know many instructors that are ultra introverts, but you put them on stage and they're a totally different, authentic version of themselves. That is great advice, especially when you're just getting started. You want to take that leap of faith, and yet you're afraid to, the fear factor or the imposter syndrome. We all experience it. And I am totally with you on that one. Let's go to flying too close to the ground, because I think this one's going to be very interesting to ask you about. My first question is, how do you encourage coaches and leaders to imagine and so now you've helped them see how they can find their alter ego, what they desire to be. How do you help them pursue that higher purpose? It's putting in the work. It's not luck, like you said. What would you encourage coaches and leaders to do to imagine a higher purpose for their work and lives? Let's say they're at a point where they're feeling a plateau. What would be that piece of advice to take them to the next level?
I think for me, Mo, it's exactly what you said before. It's passion and purpose. I think that's a key area that people miss. And to be honest, Mo, I see things in the industry where the entry into the industry, the benchmark is not the highest benchmark in the world. You don't have to go to university for 4 years. You don't have to do X, Y, Z. You can enter in a relatively short period of time and you can be earning like really quite significant amounts of money. So the fitness industry is not something that you want to get into if it is a financial motivation. A lot of the time, Mo, and this is just my opinion, you can earn great money, but you've got to have passion about it, and you've got to be purpose driven. You've got to be purposeful in what you do. When it comes to that, Mo, you've got the take opportunity, you've got the hard work component, but you've got to think longevity, and you've got to have a foundation of authenticity. And I know I keep banging on about the word, but you've got to be authentic to you as a person. That's where the purpose comes in, Mo. So for me, it's understanding your vision statement. What is your vision statement? What is your purpose in the industry? What is it that drives you? Then you've got to use that in every interaction that you have to make sure that you stay grounded. You are always true to what it is and who you are as a person. For me, Mo, I'm an engineer by trade. There's no purpose behind doing that for me. So that's why I stepped into the fitness industry, because that's purposeful and I'm extremely passionate about it. Also, something that I'll use is something called the HILT approach, HILT. So the HILT approach is when things get a little slippy, Mo, like when you start to lose a little focus, you're on the battlefield, Mo, and things are getting a little slippy. You need a HILT. You need something to keep hold of that's going to keep you grounded. So the H is honesty. The I is integrity. The L is loyalty. And the T is trustworthiness. That's how I look at things. That is my moral compass, Mo. Because I want to make sure that I'm always doing things for the right reason. And I can always say, yes, I have followed the HILT approach and I have been truthful to my purpose and my passion. That resonates strongly with me as an individual.
I love how you aligned your vision, your purpose with your core values, which is what is at the root of everything. And talking about satisfaction and fulfillment when you're in alignment with your values and you're always using your purpose as your North Star, it does help you, especially when it gets slippy or when you feel lost or when you feel stuck. And I know that if you are really aiming to soar higher in life, my friends, you got to be prepared to revisit what your purpose is, what truly is your passion, recheck in with your values and make sure that those are in alignment, because it will help you soar higher. it's hard to fly high if you're feeling like you can't even get your feet off the ground because it's not feeling right for you. I love what you said. You're always adding that piece of education that I just adore about you. Again, the hilt approach, the alter ego, the hilt approach. And that's a philosophy that I know I learned a long time ago, but it's always nice to revisit, especially as we're coming to this time of the year where it is pivotal this time of year to really revisit your goals, where you're at, and make those necessary shifts or leaps to take yourself to where you see yourself for this year. So thank you for that. That's amazing. Now I know you well enough to know that you're so passionate about being an educator. When it comes to your own journey and have you come to a place, or was there a moment in your career where you realized that you had to aim higher? And what shifted you or what catapulted you to go there?
Mo, this is like, we could do another 3 podcasts on the stuff where I've been like, okay, now I've got to reach higher. Now I've got to change. Like, it just is inevitable at some point. But the biggest shift for me, I work extremely well, Mo, with no safety net. So it's like when there's no safety net and I'm up against the wall, like I have got to go. I've got to do it. So before my son was born, like me, my wife and my daughter, we used to live in Rome. We lived in Italy. So I was an engineer in the UK. So we moved over to Italy. I was training people and doing the coaching stuff, but I was still engineering. So we moved over to Italy. And when I came back, we had nothing, like literally nothing. I bought a car, Mo, right? It was £200, this car, right? It was an absolute banger. So I get this car and I'm driving along the highway and I'm doing like 70 miles an hour. And I'm coming down because I'm going on a job. I come back, I'm engineering again. So I'm driving along and I put my foot on the brake and the car goes bang and the flaming wheel just goes whoops and I'm going across the highway. So I'm doing 100 kilometers an hour. I'm like, oh, across the highway. I managed to get the car under control, pulled off the highway, and I sort of parked it up. And I'm stood there, Mo. It's raining because it's Manchester. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm looking at the car and I look inside the wheel and the brakes had grabbed the brake disc and sheared it off the axle. So there was no brakes on one side of the car. That's why it dragged me across. And in that instant, Mo, I just thought, I'm not doing this anymore. You know what I mean? Like now I do genuinely need to reach higher and go for what it is that I believe that I was meant to do. So I went back to study personal training, got my personal training certification. Mo, 2 weeks before I finished the certification, my wife says, we're having another baby.
Oh.
I said, great. So I'm like, okay, I've not got a job. I've just changed my career and we've got one kid and now we're having another one. Perfect. So that was the no safety net. That was lighting a fire under me then to be like, this is going to be something that I absolutely pour my passion, energy, purpose, everything into. So yeah, that's what I did. And then the rest, as they say, is history, Mo.
The rest, they say, is history. And look where you are today. Wow. I love it. No safety net. Some of us need to sort of let that safety net loosen a little bit and not be afraid. Yeah. And be aware of things. I bet. However,
sorry, Mo. It's easy for people to say, it's too easy for people to say, well, if this doesn't work, I'll do this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? So when there's no safety net, Mo, it's like, this is going to work. I have said that this is what I want to do, and I'm going to stand by it, and I'm going to flaming knock it out of the park. So let's get focused and let's go.
Wow. I love it. I did not know that part of your story. That is very cool. And what I know about you is just your authentic style of leadership. So let's talk about that a bit. And you talked about authenticity earlier, but if you had to put it together with leadership, how would you how do these principles of authentic leadership, how will they help build leaders within the industry that we know we need for moving the industry forward? Can you tie it into what authentic leadership is, how it becomes a living legacy for leaders? Because we don't want to wait to die to hear about ourselves. We won't even hear about ourselves then. But how do you hope that it will help the future leader understanding that principle?
I think as far as it goes, with leadership, Mo, and authenticity and connection, if you're running teams, like I've run teams of trainers on multiple continents, like I've ran teams in the UK, I've ran teams in Canada. So it's authenticity is absolutely key when you're leading a team. And it's not about authenticity. Oh, everything's going to be okay. Oh, everything's going to be great. It's not about being a cheerleader all the time. But what it is about is creating authentic connection with people. I think emotional transparency, Mo, is a big one. So when you start to talk to people, it's not about people talk about it as being vulnerable, right? It's not being vulnerable. It's being emotionally transparent. Like for me, if I'm upset, if I think that you can do better, I'm going to tell you that. If I think that you've done a fantastic job, I'm going to tell you that. And I'm going to be emotionally transparent with you. When you connect with people, Mo, especially, and this is my opinion, especially in a leadership-based environment, you've got to see people, right? You can't just watch them. You've got to see them. You can't listen to them, Mo. You've got to hear them. And you got to feel them, not in a weird way, right? I mean, don't go feeling people, but you've got to feel what they are, like the energy that they're putting out. As an example, and this is we still talk about it now because I'm still mates with a guy. And it's when I was a lot younger than I am now, I went through quite a lot of stuff in my life, in my personal life. And I remember the guy that I used to knock about with, a really good friend, a really, really good friend, and a fantastic human being who I have the utmost respect for. He was an absolute animal, Mo, when we were young. So nobody messed with him. Absolute brute. And when I was going through all this stuff, he gave me an envelope and he said, "Don't read it now." He said, "Read it when you're on your own." And it was a poem called If by Rudyard Kipling. And it was, I can't even think about it now because I get emotional about it. That's how much of an impact it had on me. And I was 15 at the time.
Wow.
So, and at the end, Mo, he said, if you can keep your head while all about you are losing theirs, if you can do this and this and this and this and this. And at the end, it said, if you can do all this, then you are a man, my son. And it was, I tell you what, it gets me, Mo, every single time. I'm getting a bit emotional, but it's something that has been like a navigation point for me. Like that, for me as a man, and being authentic is a powerful, powerful thing. Now, this lad, when I was his manager, he was going through some stuff, Mo. Like, it was rough for him. And I did the same thing for him. I gave him an envelope with that poem in. And I said, read it when you're on your own. And he read it, and we still talk about it now. So it's having that. Why can I, as a leader, not be authentically true and be emotionally transparent with the people that I work with? I think that is a powerful, powerful piece to connect with the people that you work with.
Powerful piece of advice. I love it. That's like I will say once in a while, that's a mic drop moment, and that's a mic drop moment.
You got to read the poem, Mo. Honestly, I like it. I actually had it for today, and I thought I'm going to read it, and I thought I can't. Because if I read it, it'll get me.
Well, I know we can find that, and I made a note of it so that I could look it up. And I recall a poem called "If." I've heard it be quoted in a book somewhere at one point, so I'm going to look that up. And it's so amazing how you defined truly authentic leadership and how you create that. It's not, it's about really seeing people, really hearing people and feeling people and not really feeling people. But you said it, it's the connection. You got to feel their energy. That's what, in my opinion, connection is, because then you can truly tap into what their needs are, what they're looking to accomplish, and therefore how you can best serve them. That is such a pivotal, fundamental. I'm going to call it that because that's what you're about. Fundamentals. Looking back on your 30 years, wow, 30 years. I was celebrated yesterday for my 41 years at Good Life Fitness. It's like, whoo, goes fast and it's so fulfilling. But I'm going to ask you, looking back on your 30 plus years, what legacy do you hope to leave behind in the fitness industry? And I could reword that, say, what legacy are you continuing to lead in the fitness industry?
I think for me, Mo, and we've spoke about this like quite a few times. One of the big bugbears for me in the fitness industry is the amount of ego that's in the fitness industry. So for me personally, like if I could leave a legacy, it would be a legacy of service and not ego. And I think, and that's not just service to clients, it's service to the industry and the people that have come before us, Mo, because I think we're all standing on the shoulders of giants. Like there's no, like we talk about education, we talk about this, and this, but there's very little that is really new. It's like we talk about breathing stuff. Mate, we've been breathing since the year dot. You know what I mean? It's like the books that have been written are insane. So everybody's standing on the shoulders of giants. And I think we just need to pay homage to people. So more service-based, serving the people that I work with as far as clients go, serving the people that I work with as far as the team that are around me, and then people who have come before us as well. And there's another, like, I'm not a big poem guy, right? I'm not a big poetry guy, Mo, but it just so happens that there's another poem. Now, when you step back, this is called Success, and it's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I think people get a little wrapped in this, Mo, and I think everybody needs to just take a second. My grandfather was one of the best people you will ever, just a phenomenal human being, phenomenal. He was a very, very wealthy man at certain points in his life. And then when he got into his later life, it was also the reason why I got into fitness, because he was like super fit, PTI in the paratroop regiment, water skier, like used to do all crazy training stuff, gravity boots hanging upside down, just brilliant. When he got older, he was poorly. So he couldn't work. He lost everything. And he died a poor man. But how do you define success? Like people tie so much success to financial gain. And there's a part in that success where it's like the poem where it says, even if you leave the world by a healthy garden patch, or one child or one person has breathed easier because you have lived, that's success.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's how you define success. What is legacy and how do you define success? And most of the time, Mo, money comes and goes. Like financial success. I mean, it's great. It's easier to cry in a BMW than it is on a push bike, but it's not. It shouldn't be the defining factor. You should be. That's the purpose, Mo. That's the passion.
Absolutely. I know for me, it's about contribution. And yes, it's important to be to earn what you deserve. And, money does provide you opportunity to serve your purpose in a broader way, but it's not what fulfills people in the end. It's amazing how we hear story after story about, those that there was a book about the 5 regrets of dying. And one of the regrets is, you never on your deathbed said, oh, I wish I worked more and made more money. You never say that, right? So I wish I had made more impact and had more connection with people and was able to serve, in the way that I, brought me pleasure, because in aligning with what gives you pleasure and purpose is really how you show up authentically, right?
Yeah.
So That is the true definition of success. I agree with you. And for a man that is not a poet, you certainly leave us with incredible poetic insights. All right, before we wrap up, I want to ask you this, and then I want you to share. So how do you mentor others to think about their own legacy while still growing into, their present? Like, how do you help them see about legacy as you help them in the moment?
I think Mo, it sort of encapsulates everything that we spoke about. Is I'll speak to people, like the amount of people that I speak to, where I say to them, you've got to take the opportunity and you have to do the work. That is going to, nothing's going to drop into your lap. Like nothing's going to fall into your lap. You have to put yourself out there. Otherwise, no one has any idea you're there. So yeah, it's having that, taking the opportunity and then going out and working, but being authentic. Also, what you've got to understand is the impact, Mo. Like trainers have to understand the impact that they have. So it's not just about the person who they're working with. It's the ripple effect of everybody that's around them. So if you're working with somebody who's carrying a little extra weight, is a little depressed, is not moving well, the relationships in their personal and private life are not going great, they don't really like work, you're working with somebody like that, Mo, and then you impact them, you help them, you see them, you hear them, because most people, they're not heard, they're not seen, like they don't feel like valued, but you listen to them, you hear them, you see them, like you feel the energy, and you start to turn things around with them. Like you just guide them, but they'll do the work. And as they start to feel better about themselves and they're moving a bit better and the relationships improve and the mental wellness improves, the ripple effect around them, maybe they've got kids and like the kids are seeing the parents moving more and eating better and enjoying life. That's the ripple effect that you can have and the impact that you can have, not only on the person that you're working with, the entire sort of environment that they're in. So I think that's the biggest sort of thing that trainers need to take away from leaving a legacy is the impact that they can have in the world, Mo. The trainers are the pointy end of the stick. So you've got doctors. Doctors see a client, let's say 20 minutes, Mo. And if you're really sick, 20 minutes, 3 times a year, like that's pretty regular. You know what I mean? A trainer has the opportunity to see a client 3 times a week for an hour. So you are the front line of the fitness industry. You take people from the doctor and you stop them sliding this way, Mo, into sickness and dysfunction. You keep them like functioning well, stop them going this way and stop them going this way. Like you optimize what it is that they do. So I think trainers need to understand the value that they bring and the impact that they can have on people.
That is amazing. And I hope for all those listening and watching, you'll take a moment just to reflect on that incredible insight, but take that insight and reflect on what it is that you really are doing to help your clients move forward into their, lifestyle that will actually be transformational. I don't know really. And thank you so much, Ben, for sharing this, because we're so busy being busy doing what we're doing that we don't realize the impact that we have. And the more that we can realize the impact of our efforts, the more that we will receive that fulfillment that will help us do this and more. And that's really what legacy is. It's continuing to soar higher from the ground to really do what you are meant to do in this one precious life that we are all gifted, and to really help others to experience the same. And that's what makes great leaders like you. And I'm just so honored to have you today on the show, because we do chat from time to time. But as I'm reminded today that every time I step into a workshop of yours, I always take something away, not only into my toolbox, but into my heart, that helps me really understand not just the opportunity I have as a leader, because I've been privileged with the opportunity to lead others, but also just what I can do by showing up authentically as myself. So thank you for that. How can people connect with you, Ben, and learn more about what you're doing, um, and really what would be those channels that we could find you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. Hashtag. My daughter said, "Don't ever do that." Right, so I just do it now. So on Instagram, I'm at McDonald Method, and then also I'm at Ben MCD1976. Yes, that is my year of birth. My daughter also said, "Don't ever do that," but I did it anyway. So that's on Instagram. Obviously, Facebook, Ben McDonald, and if you want to check out courses, services that I offer, feel free to pop onto the website, mcdonaldmethod.com.
Absolutely. And your courses are available through this whole new world of digital content and virtual training. So until we see you in person, we can all connect with you there. Thanks so much, Ben, for being today's guest on A Moment with Mo. I'm super privileged. It's just a joy that you get to share with the world. I hope that this platform helps you get it out to more people in your community and beyond. I want to say to all of you, thanks for joining this podcast. Thank you for following me on my social channels where you can find this podcast, and do check out my latest blog. It was really inspiring to write as I reflected on my goals, my purpose for this year, and really how I was choosing to serve. I also found a reality check in that we're already heading into the last powerful quarter of 2025, and it's a perfect time to seize new opportunities and elevate your energy and commit to becoming more than you even thought possible. Until next time, be well and take care. Bye.